Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Fowler, and welcome to Run for the Crown on ESPN Classic. The year is 1981, and in racing, a colt has risen to prominence just weeks before the Kentucky Derby. After failing to win in 5 straight starts, Pleasant Colony captures the important Wood Memorial with a strong stretch run. The brash New Yorker, Johnny Campo, Pleasant Colony's trainer, is getting all the credit. He'd been asked to take over only weeks before the colt's first big victory. Now, off this one success, Campo is saying he has the horse for the Derby. The race is for second. Also attached to Pleasant Colony is a brewing sentimental story. His jockey is George VELASQUEZ, the winner of 4,000 races, but haunted by one glaring omission. He has never won a Triple Crown race. So now for Campo, the big talker without big results, and for VELASQUEZ as well, the 107th Kentucky Derby looms as the means to validate incomplete careers.
John Campo would just explode on the scene. I think the first time he won a race, he won both ends of the Daily Double. What a way to break into the business. He was a bit of a rogue and a maverick. He certainly didn't match some of the blue bloods that were hanging around the Belmont backstretch those days. But John Campo could train a horse.
Campo-trained Pleasant Colony was the first Derby entry for Virginia-based Buckland Farms and owner Thomas Mellon Evans. But Campo and George VELASQUEZ were old hats in the horse racing business with a combined 29 years of experience. Pleasant Colony's victory at the Wood Memorial had helped place the horse 4th at the Derby betting table in a bloated field of 21 horses.
Well, actually, it was not much to look at, you know, because he was kind of skinny, long legs, you know, but he can really run, and he was well trained by Campo. He was a horse that gave you everything he got.
There's the favorite in the race, number 1A, Proud Appeal, ridden by a really fine jockey. Calm, cool, collected at all times. A Canadian. His name is Jeffrey Fell.
The number 4 horse, the late running Pleasant Colony. Oh, hey, VELASQUEZ, up you see the odds.
And here is number 9. This is Cure the Blues, being ridden for the first time today by one of the great jockeys of all time, Bill Shoemaker, at age 49. Imagine he will be 50 years old in August of this year. He's after his 4th Kentucky Derby.
And they're up. He's moving fast, and down the stretch they come. Photo finish.
They're at the post, and they're off. For the lead from the inside, that's Golden Derby, Habano in the center of the track. Moving up between those two, Proud Appeal on the outside, well-decorated and hoedown stay. Bold Ego on the extreme outside. Also moving up now between horses, Top Avenger. Down the stretch the first time, Top Avenger ahead in front. Bold Ego second, a half length. Proud Appeal is third, a half. Well-decorated 4th by 1. Mythical Ruler 5th, a length. Hoedown stay 6th. Golden Derby 7th ahead. Cure the Blues on the outside is 8th. A length and a half to Splendid Spruce 9th. Habano is 10th, a length past the tab is 11th, a gap of 2 to Partez. Then on the outside it's Tap Shoes, followed by Noble Nashua, a gap of 2 to Flying Nashua and Beau Bit. It's 3 lengths back to Pleasant Colony, followed by Classic Go-Go and Woodchopper, then Television Studio, followed on the inside by Double Sonic. Down the back stretch, they're very well bunched. Moving through on the inside, that's Proud Appeal. He has a head in front. Up on the outside, Bold Ego with Top Avenger still right there between those two. Gap of 2 lengths to well-decorated 4th ahead, Mythical Ruler 5th ahead. Gaining ground from the inside, that's past the tab 6th. On the extreme outside, Partez is gaining ground. They're moving into the turn, Top Avenger ahead in front, Bold Ego 2nd, Proud Appeal 3rd. Partez is gaining ground now, moves by horses on the outside. Past the tab, moves up in 6th. Moving through on the inside, that's Splendid Spruce. They're moving far the stretch. On the inside, Bold Ego. On the outside, Partez. Those two are together. Top Avengers drop back 3rd. Gaining ground on the outside, Pleasant Colony. They're moving down the stretch, Partez. Now Pleasant Colony on the outside takes the lead. Partez holds the 2nd in the center of the track past the tab. Television Studio is moving up. Down along the inside, Splendid Spruce. Nearing the finish, it's Pleasant Colony drawing away with the lead. Woodchopper gains ground 2nd. Under the block, Pleasant Colony wins almost the length. Woodchopper gets up for 2nd. Partez, surprise 3rd. A photo for 4th.
In this race, Pleasant Colony had some interesting company. First of all, Partez, the horse that finished 3rd, was the very first horse trained by Wayne Lucas to appear in the Kentucky Derby. And, of course, Lucas has become king of the hill since then. And Woodchopper, the horse that Eddie Delahousie rode to finish second, was 20th down the backstretch. So there was a lot happening in this Derby. But they only lead one over to get the blanket of roses, and it was Pleasant Colony.
It's like winning the Super Bowl, winning the World Series. It's just unbelievable. When I won the Derby, for example, I was so excited. I was in heaven. It took me a whole year to come down.
Here is Georgie Velasquez. Jorge, at last, your career has been crowned as it should be with a victory in the Kentucky Derby. What's your reaction?
Well, the day has arrived, and I'm just tickled to death. I can hardly speak. I'm so nervous, but I'm happy at the same time. So my congratulations to Mr. Campo, Mr. Evans, and Mrs. Evans, and everybody is involved in this horse. I just want to say hello to all my people in Panama, all my people in New York, and the people from Kentucky. I love them all.
You're always a very quiet man. You wouldn't hazard a comment of any sort on this, would you?
Well, I kept telling everybody this horse was going to win, but everybody thinks I'm nuts. You know, but I told Mr. Evans, if we didn't win the Wood, there ain't no sense of coming. And if we didn't win this, no sense of going to Preakness. Pity them poor guys in the Preakness. We had some fun today, and we went easy.
What made you so certain before the Wood? You say, make your bets and go to sleep on it. It's all right. We're going to win. You said the same thing on Thursday here.
I'm a good horse trainer, pal. Don't ever forget it.
The Derby winner, Pleasant Colony, arrived in Maryland the Preakness favorite. John Campo continued to talk big, but the more reserved George Velasquez, even with thousands of races under his belt, had to get acquainted with the relentless glare of the Triple Crown.
When you get on your horse and you're coming out in the post parade, and the public, you know, cheering and clapping for you and all that, for your horse, and you're still a little tense, you're still a little nervous. But then when you started to warm up your horse and everything goes away.
There is the favorite, Pleasant Colony, a come-from-behind horse who will now run on a track that does not lend itself usually to come-from-behind courses. The turns are tight, and front-runners often win. But Johnny Campo said he would win the Derby. We asked him earlier if he thought he would for sure win the Preakness.
We know the winner of the Preakness. What was there to predict about? Trouble with these people around here, you know, Howard. They write everything you say. You got to be a little careful, you know. This is only one time when I talk to you. There's other nitwits around that get you in trouble.
Well, what do you predict?
Same finish as the Derby. Was it any different?
You don't see any new problems? Tighter turns, the structure of the track, and a still overcrowded field?
You make a great owner, you know. You got all the excuses before the race. And after the race, you're going to say, well, that's exactly what happened, what you're saying. No, you can't make any excuse for a good horse, Howard. He's the same horse he was for the Derby, going into the Preakness. There's no change.
Johnny Campo as bashful as ever.
And they're up. He's moving fast. And down the stretch they come. Photo finish.
They're off. They break away on the outside. It's 38 paces going to the front. Van Upper's coming on. Down along the inside, Top Avenger. Then it's Bold. They come through the stretch for the first time. Bold Echo showing the way up on the outside, 38 paces. Down along the inside, Top Avenger. Between horses, A Run. On the outside, Flying Nashua. Along the rail, Peristo. A gap of 3 more lengths. Turn up way on the outside. Then it's Pleasant Colony. A gap of 3 more lengths. It's Partez on the outside. Then it's Island Blade, Double Sonic, Woodchopper. Way on the outside is Gambia Bay. Down the backstretch, it's Bold Ego showing the way. 38 paces in second place. Peristo along the rail. Between horses, it's A Run. Up on the outside, it's Flying Nashua. A gap of 3 more lengths. Top Avenger way on the outside, Pleasant Colony. Then it's Partez, Double Sonic, Island Blade. Along the inside, Bare Knuckles, Gambia Bay. They move on around the turn. It's Bold Ego showing the way. Down along the inside, it's Peristo in second place. Ranging up on the outside, it's Pleasant Colony. They come to the top of the lane. Pleasant Colony on the outside as they turn for home. It's Bold Eagle down along the inside. Pleasant Colony on the outside, 38 paces. Down along the inside, it's Pleasant.
All right, Pleasant Colony has won the second leg of the Triple Crown. It'll be on to the Belmont Stakes at 1.5 miles for him. It's still unofficial, of course, but Pleasant Colony has done it again. Second place, Bold Ego, the speed horse, who set the pace all the way. And in third place, a surprising third, Paristo. By the way, we did lose audio at the end of the race, as I'm sure you noticed. The entire sound system of the racetrack went out. It was as simple as that, and we're sorry it happened. But the winner, again, is Pleasant Colony. Well, Johnny Campo has called it again.
Watch the
and
horses
he
behind
lights up.
James, you'll be the last one.
Getting to be a habit with him now. Never won a Triple Crown race, of course, until this year. Now he's won 2 of them in 2 weeks, and he's called every one of them. He called the Wood Memorial. He called the Kentucky Derby. Now he has successfully called the Preakness.
I love Campo, and if you want to know how good Campo was, you look at the people who he spawned in the business, including Nick Zito. You know, he was... Campo was a character, and he was, I thought, a terrific trainer.
When it came down to the business of the horses, he'd call you into the office, and he would say 2 words to you, and that's it. Never give you a story about it. Blah, 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 goodbye. That's it. But when he got in front of a camera, you know, that was also him. Don't get me wrong, that was him. I mean, he was just a happy guy, you know, charismatic, and that was his personality.
You keep saying he's a real good horse. You never called him... That's what I had heard.
This is a great race. So he was 3/5 off the track record, and he was playing with these horses. He's a great horse. You'll see. He runs as fast you have to make him run. If they run about 3:16, 52, he'll run that fast. You just let him turn his head loose from the quarter for the wire. He does it for fun. He's just toying now. You really gets good. He's playing with these horses. That's yet to come. Just a genuine racehorse.
One quick question.
Yeah.
Short answer.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea who's going to win the Belmont Stakes?
Yeah, Pleasant Colony.
Okay. Thank you very much, John.
Welcome back to Run for the Crown. After bagging the second leg of the Triple Crown, Campo and company are bringing the show back to home turf, New York, for the Belmont Stakes. Pleasant Colony enters as the favorite and is looking to continue the horse racing renaissance begun in the 70s with Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and Affirmed. Campo has managed to turn his horse into a champion, and all signs point to the 4th Triple Crown winner in 8 years. But the question remains, does Pleasant Colony have what it takes to withstand the sport's longest race?
And George Velasquez, he likes to be called George, on Pleasant Colony now, and here are his thoughts as he goes postward on this favorite.
There's no pressure when I'm on top of this horse, Pleasant Colony. I just got to be 100% physically and mentally.
Let's take a look and see what's happening now to Johnny Campo with Jimmy the Greek.
Johnny, how do you feel here at the last minute?
Getting better.
You're going to win it, Johnny. You're going to win it by 3 lengths.
Let's see what happens. It's awesome.
Are you worried about the outside post position?
No, not at all. Not at all, Jimmy. No, I'm not worried nothing about that.
How about with Bold Ego staying in?
Well, that's okay.
And they're up. He's moving fast. And down the stretch they come. Photo finish.
Final horse going in, the winner of the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes. That's Pleasant Colony in the white cap, the last horse to be loaded into this starting gate. A field of 11 3-year-olds, 1.5 miles the distance, the main track fast. You can see Pleasant Colony is not too interested in this starting gate. However, a little bit of prodding from behind. The assistant starters working diligently with this 3-year-old. Jorge Velasquez giving orders also on the saddle. They're just about ready to go into this starting gate in front of the stands at the finish line. They'll race 1.5 miles. The other horses in the gate are very calm, actually. There is no difficulty with anybody but Pleasant Colony at this point. There he goes. Halfway in, up, backed out again. Son of a gun. There they go. They're going to load him now. 2 assistant starters grasp hands behind the butt of the horse and actually load him into the starting gate. Okay, here we go. They're all in line. And they're up. Bare Knuckles stumbled at the start. On the outside, that's Says You sprinting to lead with some in between horses. Bare Knuckles on the inside, right there in 3rd. It's Stage Door Key in 4th, and Bold Eagle on the outside 5th. Escambia Bay is 6th. Baristo in 7th. Tap Shoes is 8th. On the outside is Pleasant Colony, then Highland Blade and Wood Chopper. They're into the clubhouse turn. And leading the way is Bare Knuckles now by a neck. On the outside, Stage Door Key is 2nd by a neck. Then Says You back into 3rd by a length. On the outside, that's Bold Ego in 4th by a half. Summing on the rail in 5th by a length and a half. Baristo, the supplement entry on the outside in 6th by a half. Then Escambia Bay and a Tap Shoes. Then 3 back to Highland Blade, Wood Chopper. Pleasant Colony at this point in the race is last. The first quarter running 23 and 4, the half in 48 and 2. It is not a fast pace. They're down the back stretch. On the inside, Bare Knuckles, Says You on the outside. Those two are heads apart. Farther out, it's Bold Ego. They are bunching on the front end as they race down the back stretch. Bare Knuckles on the rail. On the outside, Stage Door Key. And there goes Baristo now to the front. Baristo takes the lead, and gaining ground on the inside is Summing. Summing has got him to the front, going clear by about a length. Then Stage Door Key in 2nd. Baristo is 3rd. Bold Ego in 4th. Bare Knuckles is 5th. Bold Ego on the outside, then Tap Shoes. Pleasant Colony has gained. Pleasant Colony now in the middle of the pack. They're approaching the far turn. 3/4, 1:14 and 1 around the far turn. It is Summing leading the way by a length and a half. Then Baristo is 2nd by a head. Very close is Escambia Bay now in 3rd. Then Pleasant Colony has moved into 4th. They're around the far turn. Pleasant Colony gaining ground on the outside. Approaching the top of the stretch. Summing has the lead by about 3. Then Pleasant Colony, Highland Blade on the far outside. Highland Blade now takes 2nd by a half. But Pleasant Colony is right there in 3rd. It's 4 back to Escambia Bay. Then Tap Shoes is 5th. Past the 8th pole. Summing has the lead by 2. Highland Blade is 2nd. There is going to be an upset. Pleasant Colony is 3rd. Summing on the inside. Highland Blade on the outside. Summing in front. And at the wire is Summing, the winner in an upset by a neck. Highland Blade was 2nd. Pleasant Colony was 3rd. The time on the board, 2 minutes, 29 seconds.
Belmont winner Summing wasn't allowed to compete in the Derby or the Preakness because of a blood infection. But he had captured the Pennsylvania Derby just 2 weeks prior to the Belmont and had been training beautifully. Pleasant Colony simply didn't have what was needed to win that day in June.
Johnny, the early speed was good, not there.
No, you can't make that excuse for him. You can't make no excuse for him. Don't make no excuse for him.
But 3/4 and 14 and 2.
Well, that's no excuse. You can't make no excuse for him. You can't make an excuse for him. It's going to happen. It happens. What are you going to do? You can't make no excuse.
It was just another horse race.
That's all it was. That's all you can do about it.
But it was a big one in our life.
Well, you can't help it.
I was ticked off because I didn't win it. But looking back at the race wasn't right for my horse. It was too slow, the pace, and it was too much for him to overcome.
A word about Velasquez. I mean, here's a professional race rider who could get the job done. He was as cool as anybody under pressure, and he got the most out of his horses. He never lost a Kentucky Derby, Preakness, or Belmont by his own mistakes. If the criticism surrounding the Belmont was on Velasquez, I would tend to discount it. I just don't think that it was Pleasant Colony's day.
Throughout the Triple Crown races, John Campo had been the man with the mouth.
Bye!
But Campo had been unusually subdued the day of the Belmont Stakes.
It's funny because first thing in the morning, he called me and his son into the office, and now there's 300 cameras out there and press people. He says, I just want to tell you guys now, we're not going to win tomorrow. And we were dumbfounded. I looked at him, and his son, John Jr., we looked at him and says, are you okay? Something wrong? What do you mean? We're going to win a Triple Crown. I said, John, we're going to win a Triple Crown. What's somebody talking about? He said, no. Because I don't like the way this horse is doing. He lost some weight, and he's not training well. And only he could see that. I couldn't see that. His son couldn't see that. But only he could see that. And that's what made him a great trainer.
Any horse that can win any of those classics deserves some applause. And John Campo had him at the top of his game. The field that faced him wasn't as good that day, or on the 2 days, the Derby and the Preakness day, but he just couldn't come up with the Triple Crown. And Any horse that wins those 3 races in that short amount of time, shipping from track to track, different distances, different surfaces, all the hoopla with the press and the people, they deserve the accolades. And, I mean, Pleasant Colony was a nice horse, but he doesn't deserve to be in the pantheon of Triple Crown winners, especially when you think about Secretary.
So the racing world was denied its 12th Triple Crown winner. Instead, Pleasant Colony became the 10th horse to win the first 2 legs in the run for the crown, only to lose at the Belmont. What went wrong? Well, jockey George Velasquez said his horse was bothered by the presence of a TV cameraman in the starting gate. Owner Thomas Mellon Evans mentioned a firecracker set off while Pleasant Colony was walking to the paddock. But trainer Johnny Campo, unabashedly arrogant before the race, later offered the simplest and most humble explanation. Said Campo, the better horse won. Pleasant Colony had scored all of his big victories by seizing the lead on the final turn. But in the Belmont of '81, trapped by the pack and the plodding pace, the winner of the Derby and Preakness was too far back to catch Summing. For everyone at ESPN Classic, I'm Chris Fowler. Thanks for watching Run for the Crown.